I think just the very vulnerable situation that children find themselves in when they are from either an economically disadvantaged background, or many of the children come from family situations where there may be abuse or violence, and so they feel they're forced or they're compelled to leave home often in search of a better opportunity, and unfortunately they get preyed on when they do leave. And even in some cases where children may somewhat knowingly go into the situation, it's not a choice a child can make. It's not a choice that they would make if they had other options. So looking at the options to strengthen, I think, legal protection for children, but also protective services for children. And in many of the countries where the children come from, including Thailand, the protective services are somewhat weak and don't reach all children. So it's very important that those are strengthened so that children who may become victims have somewhere to go, but also to prevent it happening in the first place. There's been less tolerance at the community level too for Thai children to be involved in the sex industry. However, those children have been replaced by migrant children in the large part. I think also there's an attempt to clamp down in more obvious places. So like the patpongs, you would not see underage children. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, it just happens in different environments. We know, for example, with pedophiles that come to Thailand, there's strong networks, there's strong rings, they organise it themselves, they'll have children sent to their hotels, so it's not necessarily taking place in a very public way, but it will be taking place, and it will be taking place largely for undocumented and migrant children, children from Cambodia, children from Burma who come here in search of some form of employment, maybe are separated from their parents and end up being exploited. Well, I guess the main recent development would be the change in the Anti-Trafficking Act, which happened last year, 2008, and they expanded the anti-trafficking law to cover, before it was just for women and children, and now it's women, children and men. But in addition, it covers non-registered persons, so people who are stateless or without documentation, and provides additional protection for undocumented. Any woman or child who's undocumented. So if you're in Thailand, previously you could be prosecuted, for example, for immigration offences because you're here without documentation, but you cannot now. If you're a victim of trafficking, you won't be prosecuted for immigration offences. And also it allows that if you say a Burmese or undocumented, unregistered, and it's not known where you're from, you're stateless basically. Because Thailand has quite a high stateless population. They estimate up to 2 million people who are residing in Thailand are stateless. So if you were trafficked and your last point was Thailand, and then you were trafficked further abroad, you can be returned to Thailand rather than being returned to another country, Burma or something, where you may not actually have registration. So it provides additional protection. I think you need good awareness about the law, and I'm not sure that the migrant communities themselves would know enough about the law, and especially victims of trafficking, if they're in a difficult or dangerous situation, they do not necessarily have access to authorities. So the law is there and it provides additional protection, but the mechanisms to reach people that are vulnerable are not necessarily there at this point. I think the law enforcement is still a very important element that could do with further strengthening, especially I think training and capacity building with the Thai police. The Thai police is still, I think, needs, for the general police, there's a specialised agency within the Thai police that look at the suppression of crimes against women and children. However, the general police, I think, are the ones that would most likely come across cases. The specialised units only in Bangkok. So I think there can be more done to build capacity of the police. But I also think too, in terms of awareness raising within the home countries that this is a crime, that there is zero tolerance. Even if you go overseas, it can be reported back. It's, you know, and just trying to sort of address the norms in the home country, because it's sort of a phenomena that people will go overseas and commit a crime that they may not commit at home. So why is that? And looking at those kind of issues and trying to address those kind of aspects of the issue and people's attitudes, and creating a culture where there's zero tolerance for abuse of children, whether in your home country or overseas.